Hello, welcome back to our little program. And this is the little program, the miniature version of the L1 show, Links with Friends. This week is a unique theme, and it's good news. Stories that were good in the news this week.
I actually had 6 articles that were either good news or positive things that we're seeing in these. And that is rare because usually it's bad news when it comes to technology. But this one is fantastic.
John Deere must face FTC's antitrust lawsuit over repair costs, U.S. judge rules.
So yeah, John Deere tried to get it thrown out and they were like, there's no basis to this. And obviously there's a mountain.
We've done so many, just in this program alone, over the last 5 years, we've probably done 20 stories about John Deere.
They've done everything they can to screw the consumer and extract as much money as they can. And in the process, we didn't get as much food.
Yeah.
That's the big
stuff
thing,
rotting
right?
in the fields because they have to wait for a technician to come out and fix it instead of letting them fix it themselves.
So that court case will go forward, and hopefully that mountain of evidence will be used to crush them. And similar to that, our war fighters who are probably
a little nervous right now.
a little concerned, apprehensive right now, and unfortunately also hungry.
U.S. Navy backs right to repair after $13 billion carrier crew left half-fed by contractor-locked ovens. Now, that's the headline, but there were actually a lot of other things that were broken like that as well, including an ammo elevator.
Which is
kind of a big
critical.
Deal. Yeah.
So why can't they repair them? It's because they have contracts. And the person that sells them, or the company that sells them the oven, says, hey, you are not allowed to fix this yourself. And they have to abide by that.
It's the McDonald's ice cream machine problem.
It's exactly that, except way higher stakes.
Yes, much higher. If I go to McDonald's, I just don't get an ice cream. If this happens, when you're at sea, you're not combat ready.
It's bad, yeah. So there's one guy here who the U.S. Navy Secretary John Phelan, he is the hero here, and his work, he has actually gotten the Navy to agree they will not buy any hardware from now on that has the repair contract. So celebrate that man. And over in New York, they are actually also giving a win in the surveillance state to the people, because guess what? It's not rules for thee and not for me, although they wanted it to be.
New York State lawmakers vote to stop NYPD's attempts to block radio communications from the public.
Imagine what would happen if you tried to block the NYPD from looking at your communications.
I don't have to imagine. I've seen a lot of people beaten for that.
Stop and frisk. And this one, I suppose, is maybe only good news based on your perspective, but probably 90% of the population, if they understood the situation, would see it as a positive.
A simple comma is going to cost Apple billions in Europe. Apple's really taken a lot of L's this week, which again, depending on your perspective, could be a good or bad thing.
So was this the DMA? It's one of those Euro laws. Yeah, the Digital Markets Act. And the way that this is worded, depending on how you interpret one of the commas, then Apple was not allowed to restrict the side loading and external payment type of stuff. And it was up. The lawyers went hard. That was my phone. But ultimately, the court decided, no, the comma is an enumeration, which means that everything that came after that statement is included, which means side loading.
This is why literacy matters. Punctuation matters.
And also, I guess, perspective. Does everybody think this is a good idea? Maybe not, but a vanishingly small amount of people probably don't think it is. Although the workers themselves might be a little bit annoyed, This is probably for the best.
We're done with Teams. German state hits uninstall on Microsoft. And it's not just Teams, it's basically all their entire Office suite, everything that they use is going over to, I think it was LibreOffice. I don't know what they're replacing Teams with, but...
Open source stuff.
Yeah.
So they have said, look, we don't trust Microsoft. We just got the tariff scare. We're just not comfortable having our government running on foreign software that we can't control.
I respect it.
Valid fear. And this, I threw it in. It's good news.
That's good news. I'm skeptical of it.
I don't believe it, but maybe.
YouTube will protect free expression by pulling back on content moderation. So presumably we could go back to calling this program news. I don't think so, because I think we will probably still get quietly, just not pushed to people's notification boxes. But they say that's not going to be the case anymore.
Presumably the censors have been told, back it off a little bit, guys. Don't go so crazy. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know that I think that might be like a temporary thing, and then it'll go back to the way it was, because advertisers will freak out. But I'll take the win.
If you're a YouTube creator, I wouldn't test it. Unless you got channel strikes to spare. Don't mess around with it. And finally, again, some people might disagree with this, but I like to see it when the people are fighting back against perhaps the inevitable, but let's not just roll over, right?
Yeah. Wikipedia cancels plan to test AI summaries after editors skewer the idea. Quote, yuck.
So yeah, the editors pretty much en masse decided they were not fans of AI. Now this was only on mobile. It would do like the Google AI summary.
Yeah.
But the editors were just kind of like, we do this for free.
Yeah.
And we don't do this just so you can recycle it and do this garbage.
Also, Wikipedia is already some of the articles are long if it's like a broad topic, but it's already generally pretty well organized, and it's supposed to be like a top level overview of something, and then you can review the sources for it. Like, why make it even shorter?
But they also made the opposite argument where they said okay, maybe this is boring and dull and there's too much information, but that's kind of who we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Just to summarize it, who's the audience for that? Because Google is going to summarize the Wikipedia on their summary.
Yeah, so is it just summaries all the way down? Until eventually it's just icons?
Hieroglyphics. But yeah, savor the good news. We probably won't do that again. That's maybe a once a year thing.
Yeah. Well, and after we've had a lot of bad news this week.
Next week's will be very bad.
Probably,
because,
yeah.
The world is descending into horror.
But enjoy it now while you can. Bye.